Okay, today we will introduce the OSPF advanced features about security authentication. Okay, so for the security authentication, actually we provide the two authentication methods, and one of is interface authentication, and another is area authentication. So actually for these two authentication methods, the differences is the range, right? The interface authentication actually is functioned as the interface, and the area authentication is functioned as the area. So the difference is means if we enable the authentication function on interface. So for example, here we have two routers, right? Okay. So we enable the authentication function on interface. It means just the authentication only with this one link. Okay. But if we enable the area authentication, so the two routers it belongs with one area, such as area 0. So we enable the authentication function on router, and then of this router we will have many interfaces, right? We will have the interface 0, interface 1, interface 2. So all the interface belongs to this router will enable the authentication function. So this is the differences between interface authentication and the area authentication. Okay. But for the interface authentication, if we enable the interface authentication on just one interface, it means the authentication function is just works on one link. So after this, well, virtual link is configured as an OSPF area, so the neighbor relationship can be established only after the corresponding configuration is completed for the interface authentication or area authentication. So actually for this sentence, it means if we want to build the neighbor relationship, so we have to establish the corresponding configuration. It means we have to make the parameter to follow the rules. So here we can see this format of our packet. Actually, we have known this format, right? It's the packet encapsulation, and we can see here is version 2, tab 1, and packet length, ID, area ID, and checksum, and authentication tab, and authentication. So here is a tab 1. It means this packet is a hello packet, right? Okay. So actually, not just for a virtual link, maybe we want to build the normal neighbor relationship. Also, we have to follow the rules and have to establish the corresponding configuration is complete. Of course, here we can see the root ID information, the area ID information, the authentication tab, the authentication. It means we have to keep the root ID is different, right? So for example, the two routers, so when the router is 1.1.1.1 and another router is 2.2.2.2, we have to keep the root ID as different between each other, okay? And in one area, we have to keep the root ID. Every router has only root ID information, okay? And next is the area ID. So if you want to build the neighbor relationship successfully, you have to keep the area ID to be the same. So we have to set the area ID information, such as the L0 or the 1 to be the same. All the routers belongs one area, okay? And then the authentication tab. So it means we have to configure the authentication tab to be the same. And then the two routers belongs to one area can build the neighbor relationship successfully. So whatever the normal area or the virtual link configuration. Okay. And next is authentication. It means we have to set the password information. Okay, password information. So here, actually, we provide the two encryption modes. First is a simple password, and the second is a cryptographic authentication. Okay, so we can see here, if we set the authentication tab to be the 0, so for two routers, actually we have to set the authentication tab to be the same. So we will choose the 0 together. Okay. So the 0 means non-authentication. Actually, we don't do the authentication on our interface or on our area. Okay, and the second authentication tab is 1. So the parameters value is 1, means we use a simple password. Okay, so the simple password actually means the password is visible in the packet, so we can see the password in the packet. Okay, so actually it's not saved. And next is the value is 2. It means we use the cryptographic authentication. Actually, the cryptographic authentication is more safe, and because the password is invisible in the packet, actually we do the encryption for this password. Okay. So for the authentication tab, this menu, if we do the authentication on our routers, so we have to keep the authentication tab to be the same. Actually, we have to choose the 0 or choose the 1 and choose the 2 for all the routers. Okay. So this is the security authentication introduction, and now we can see the configuration about the authentication. Okay, first actually the simple password configuration. So the simple password configuration is means the password is visible. Okay, is visible, and for the simple password identify authentication, and we use the interface authentication and the area authentication two methods. And for the first, actually, we have to enable the authentication. So first, we go to the interface, and here we can see we have to add into the interface, right? Okay, and then we enable the authentication function, okay. And then we will set the password information. Here we set the IP OSPF authentication key and then the password information. Okay, so actually for two routers, the link actually connect with between each other. So for the interface on the two routers, we also have to set the same password information and to set the same encryption mode. Okay. And next is the area authentication. Here we can see for the area authentication, actually, first we have to add into the area configuration. Okay, so here we add into the OSPF process. Okay, is the command is the router OSPF. For example, the process ID is 1. So then we can add into the configure router this configuration mode, and then use the area and set the area ID information and enable the authentication function. Okay. After this, and we can set the password. But for the password, actually we have to go to the interface configuration. So here we enter into the interface configuration and then use the IP OSPF authentication key, set the password information. Okay. So for another router, actually it's the same. Okay. Next is the example for the simple password for the interface authentication. And here is the R1 and R2. And for the R1, the interface serial 0. And we have to enable the function on interface serial 0. Okay. And for R2 device and the serial 0, we also have to enable the authentication function and then to set the authentication password. So first we have to enter into the serial 0 and then to enable the authentication function and then set the password information. Okay, and for the auto device, actually it's the same. Adding to the serial 0 and then enable the OSPF authentication function. And next we will set the password. So here, be careful, we have to set the same password on two interfaces. If you set the wrong password, or the password is different between another router, so the neighbor relationship will build not successfully. Okay, so this is the first simple password for the interface authentication. So next is area authentication for the simple password. And here we can see there are three routers belongs to one area, is one area 0. And for the R1, R2, R3, we also have to enable the authentication function. But here, if we want to enable the authentication function for the area, so first we have to add into the OSPF process, right? So we use the router OSPF process 1, and then to set the route ID information to do the network action. Okay. After this, we use the area 0 authentication, this command. Actually, this command is to enable the authentication function on area 0. So for R1 configuration, actually the R2 is the same. So we have to add into the OSPF process and set the route ID information, network info, network action, and then set the area 0 authentication. Okay, so for the R3 actually is the same, and we have to add into the OSPF process mode and then to enable the authentication function. Okay, so after this, actually we have to set the password for the routers. Actually, here we can see for the password information, if we want to set the password, we have to add into the interface. So here we go to the interface serial 0 and set the password information is the Ruijie. Okay, and so it means we set the password on serial 0 for this interface is a Ruijie. Okay, and actually, if the auto device want to build the neighbor relationship successfully with R1, we also have to set the password information to be the same. Actually, we use the Ruijie. Okay, we use the Ruijie. And after this, actually, we finished this interface password configuration. And another set, we also have to set the serial 1, this interface. So we add into the interface serial 1 and set the password as Ruijie. Okay, and then the interface on R3 device, we also have to set the password to be the same with the serial 1. So the R2 and R3 can build the neighbor relationship successfully. So here we go to the R3 and then adding to the interface serial 0 and then to set the password as Ruijie. Okay, so this is the simple password for authentication. Okay, so after we introduce the simple password, of course, we have to introduce another password configuration, cryptographic authentication configuration. Okay, and actually for this configuration, we can't see the password in the packet, so it's more safe. And here we can see we use the MD5 identify authentication way. Okay, and first for the interface authentication, and we can see we have to enable the authentication function on interface. So we use the IP OSPF authentication, and here we choose the message digits. Okay. So after we enable the authentication function and set the encryption authentication way, and then we have to set the authentication password. Here, use IP OSPF message digits key and set the key ID information, and then set the MD5 key. Okay. So for the area authentication, it's the same, but for the area authentication, first we have adding to the area. So we use the root OSPF process ID information adding to the OSPF process, and then use the area 0 authentication message digits to enable the authentication function. Okay, and then we have to set the authentication information on the interface. So we use the IP OSPF message digits key and use the key ID, MD5, and the key information to set the area authentication key information. Okay, so this is the configuration command. So next, let's see the example for the cryptographic authentication. First is the interface authentication. And here the R1, R2 want to build the neighbor relationship between each other. So we have to keep the authentication to be the same. We have to keep the authentication tab to be the same. So here we have to enable the function on two routers. Of course, we have to set the same password information on two routers. Okay, so here we set the IP OSPF authentication to be the message digits. Is choose the authentication way. Okay, and for another router is the same. We use the message digits. It means we use the cryptographic authentication. Okay, and for the password, we use IP OSPF message digits key and the key ID to set to be the 1, and then use the MD5 and set the password is a Ruijie. Okay, so for another router, we also have to use IP OSPF message digits key and set the key ID information, and then to set the same password to be the same. Okay, so this is the example for the interface authentication. Okay, next, let's see the area authentication, and we use cryptographic authentication way. Okay, and actually here is the R1, R2, R3 device. So first we have to go to the OSPF process, and we use the root OSPF 1 and then set the right information and do the network action. Okay. After this, and we use area 0 authentication message digits. This means we enable the authentication function. Of course, we also choose set the cryptographic authentication. We use this authentication way. Okay, and then for the R2 device, it's the same. We have to go to the OSPF process and then set the authentication way. Okay, and for the R3, it's the same. Okay, it's the same. We also have to go to the OSPF process and set the authentication function and to use the cryptographic authentication way. Okay. After this, we have to set the message information. So here we adding to the serial 0, okay, for R1, and we use IP OSPF message digits key and set the key ID information, set the password information. So for the neighbor relationship we want to build successfully, actually between the R1 and R2, we also have to set the same password. So here we set the password information, the key ID information, the password information to be the same with serial 0 belongs to R1. Okay. So after we set the password information for serial 0, we also have to set the password information on serial 1. Okay, so here we can see for the interface serial 1 and we use IP OSPF message is key 1, and MD5 is a Ruijie. Okay, and for the neighbor relationship can build successfully belongs to between the R2 and R3. So for the R3, actually we have to enable the password on R3 and set the password to be the same with R2. So we use the IP OSPF message digits key 1 MD5 Ruijie. Okay, so this is the area authentication. Okay, actually, except this, we also introduce another situation, right? And this for the virtual link. And actually, here we can see on R1 and R3, we build the virtual link between each other. Okay, and for the virtual link, it belongs to the area 1. Okay, and here first we have to set the authentication. Here we end into the OSPF process, and then we can see we use the area 1 virtual link 3.3.3.3. So it means the R1 sync the R3 is the virtual link remote router with the R1. So he will set the 3.3.3.3 this router to become the virtual link, and then to enable the authentication function with virtual link. Okay, and after this, we have to set the virtual link for the authentication password and use area 1 virtual link 3.3.3.3 and authentication key is Ruijie. Okay, and actually, if we want to build the neighbor relationship via the virtual link, we also have to enable the authentication function in other set. Of course, we also have to set the same password on S3, right? So here we use area 1 virtual link 111. This is remote ID information, and then to enable the authentication function. And after this, we set the 111 for these neighbors. We have to set the password to be the same. So we also have to set the password as Ruijie. Okay. So this is a simple password for a virtual link. Okay. After this, we also have to set another example. It means that when authentication is configured for area 0, so the password must be configured for the virtual link. And we can see for R1 and R3, also we have to use area 1 to build the virtual link, right? And for the R1 configuration, we add into the root OSPF 1, but now we enable the area 0 for the authentication function. Okay. And after this, actually, we have to set the virtual link for the authentication. This means if we enable the authentication function on area 0, also we have to configure the authentication information on area 1. Okay, so when we use area 1 virtual link and then add the remote ID information and then add the authentication password with Ruijie. So for another set is R3, we also have to enable the authentication function. We use the area 1 and virtual link 111 authentication, and then to set the same password with the R1 device. Okay, so this is the simple password for virtual link for 2 scenarios. Okay, so actually this is the security authentication for the OSPF advanced features. Actually, we introduced the authentication function, and we have 2 methods. First is the interface, and the second is area. Okay. After this, we also we have 2 encryption way. First is the simple password, and second we can use MD5. Okay. And if we want to build the neighbor relationship successfully, so we have to keep the authentication tab to be the same. We also have to keep the authentication password to be the same. Okay, so for the virtual link, actually, we also to set the same authentication tab and authentication password for the virtual link. So this is the security authentication introduction. That's all.